The sky is telling us something.
What the hell? It's split. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new to the channel, if you guys don't know what we do, let me tell you about it, man. We break down escape room, creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in with us, man, watching the video entirely, hitting that post notification bell, man, and hitting that like button on each and every single video. I see you guys support, man, so I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Let's seek the truth.
In the beliefs of the Baloch people are associated with the mystery and deep silence of its nature and historical monuments.
Okay.
The cemetery of Jinn, what the Baloch call Jinn Sant, is one of these secrets. Locals believe that these tombs belong to the Jinn. They have buried their dead in the fence of these stones, and when night falls, the Jinn will appear on the graves of their lost ones and mourn them. They say that whoever goes to this graveyard at night will be cursed by the Jinn and will surely die with a severe punishment after a few days. Why is this cemetery known as the Cemetery of Jinn at all? The main reason is the tombstones of this cemetery. The tombstones planted in this cemetery are in such a way that they bear no resemblance to the tombstones of a human being. Although many of these stones were destroyed over the years, there are still traces of these tombstones, and there are so many that we can guess that this used to be a cemetery. The strangest tombstone of the Scary Fairy Cemetery. The strange part of this cemetery goes back to one of the tombs that is very long and wide. There is a...
Those tombstones. I just say no, they said it was a cemetery, but that was a circular shape, so that really has me raising some questions, man. We've seen a couple of clips, man, talking about jinns, but this one was really breaking it down for us. What do you guys think, seekers? Should we go down that rabbit hole even more?
Ahriman created the desert spirit demons known as Da'avas to serve as direct opposites to the celestial angels known as the Holy Immortals or Amashaspentus. For example, the demon Druj, who represents falsehood, was created to be the polar opposite of Ashurvanishta, the archangel of truth and righteousness. Several of the Da'avas were once sacred Hindu deities who were brought to Persia and transformed into evil spirits. In fact, the term Da'ava or Deva originated in India as a name that meant shining ones, and it was applied to both gods and demigods. The Da'avas are not necessarily eternal, but they have been around for a long time, spreading disease and misery all over the world. They are also keen on leading mankind astray by encouraging people to worship them, rather than pray to a creator god. The Da'avas are supposed to be kept at bay by living a clean and decent life, and enjoying the blessings of creation. Unfortunately, even the most upright people are vulnerable to Da'ava possession for approximately 9 days after death. Evil people, on the other hand, can be possessed while still alive, and there are several purifying ceremonies and specific prayers that can be used to drive the vile Da'avas away.
I guess stay away from the Da'avas. They can take you over in the afterlife. There's definitely somebody's grunting, bro. Is it a graveyard too? Whoa. Buried alive or something? Coming from hell. Okay, what the hell is that? You hear echo in the voice now. That little hole, is that the opening he's hearing it from? Is he like digging? You see the dirt on his hand, he was definitely digging something. What do you guys think, man? Was that an edit or was that legit?
You guys want to know why I'm low-key afraid of Dua Lipa now? So there's actually this Iranian folktale that my dad told me about when she first popped off. It's about this long-legged man named Dua Lipa, which basically translates to long-legged person. So the story goes that Dua Lipa wanted to cross this large river, and so he asks this water troll to help him across. So after some persuading, the troll reluctantly agrees to help Dua Lipa cross the river, and he asks him to hop on his back. But as they're crossing the river, the water depth increases, and the troll asks Dua Lipa to loosen up his legs so that he can catch his breath. But Dua Lipa refuses, and they both end up drowning. And apparently, the moral of the story is to not let someone you don't know control your life. I don't know if the Dua Lipa we know and love knows this story, but I think about it every time I hear one of her songs or I see her perform. And as amazing as she is, the Persian fable got me.
Who is Rostam?
Hey man, what she was saying, how her name Dua Lipa was based off that story. And she's a freaking, like, you know, she's a star, and I guess they said the moral of the story was to don't let somebody you know control your life, and that's kind of the main point of freaking stars, man. When that's all you think about when you listen to the music and things of that nature. So there was definitely some similarities between those two stories, man. These freaking pop stars and movie stars and actors, bro. Now we got folklore based off their names now. What's next?
Rostam is a legendary Persian hero known for his great size and strength. He wore a panther skin, wielded a club, and is known for his 7 labors, prompting many to compare him to the Greek hero Hercules.
Okay.
Jinn.
Somebody like Hercules?
Jinns have no physical body of their own, and are creatures from an unseen dimension realm. Jinns can be both benevolent or malevolent. Jinns have the ability to predict the future, can read people's thoughts, have extraordinary strength.
I told you, bro. We keep learning about gems. We keep seeing gems throughout these clips. We're gonna have to do a deep dive into them one day, man. So they can be either good or bad now. Some new information we picked up. Well, you know, man, tap in with us.
A serial killer in 3, 2, 1. He has killed another girl, a 15-year-old girl. I don't mean to be rude, but his face looks like a piece of shit. His disgusting face is printed on the second page of all school textbooks. Doesn't this sound like a cult? Why should a 7-year-old kid see the face of a murderer every single day at school? Students have been drawing on his disgusting face for years now because we hate him. Another good and accurate drawing. Students have been tearing up his photos like this. This girl was among the many who did that. But the Islamic Republic security forces raided the school and checked to see if they still have that murderer's photo in their books. And she didn't. So they beat her up so bad that she passed away.
What? All because they didn't have him in the book?
Did you know that Black Friday actually means
Crazy.
something very different in Iran? Bringing up those words evokes memories of the Black Friday Massacre, which occurred on September 8, 1978. The Black Friday Massacre resulted in the deaths of reportedly up to 3,000 people.
Damn.
And it was a pivotal point in the Iranian Revolution. Basically, this is a very complex subject to talk about, but at the time, people in Iran were fed up with the governing body, the Pahlavi dynasty, and they wanted the governing body of Iran to be replaced by an Islamic republic. That summer, protests had been erupting all over Iran. People were really fed up with what had been happening. There were all these weird events that were occurring, like a movie theater fire that killed over 400 people that people thought was linked to the Iranian government. And on that day, September 8th, 1978, thousands gathered in a public square in Tehran, Iran, to protest the government. But what they didn't know was that the government had enacted martial law just days before. So at some point during this massive protest, government officials started opening fire and massacring people by the dozens. Now, while some people claim that only 90 or so people died during this event, various other news sources, chronicles, people that were there claim that over 3,000 people were slaughtered on that day. And although this was an extremely tragic event that is still remembered in Iran to this day, this led to the overthrow of the government. So even though the Iranian government at the time that day tried to squash the rebellion by opening fire on these protesters, that totally turned around against them, and once again it led to the fall of the government.
Hey man, and what the freaking Black Friday was associated with that tragedy, man. And, you know, over here Black Friday means, you know, people they be going crazy and they be shopping, and how it, you know, how sometimes it ends up really bad, man. I wonder, is that what the name originated from?
In 1979, 66 American hostages were taken in Iran. 14 would be released, but 52 would be stuck in Iran for 444 days. The hostages were released on the day that Ronald Reagan replaced Jimmy Carter as the U.S. president. Were they released because Ronald Reagan was a serious guy, or because Jimmy Carter negotiated the right way? 172 days after people were taken in Iran, Jimmy Carter ordered a military mission to rescue the hostages. The mission failed, though, because 3 U.S. helicopters failed and another crashed into a plane. Jimmy Carter continued to negotiate with the leader of Iran, but he would not let hostages go. Finally, 443 days after the U.S. hostages were taken, the United States agreed to give Iran a whole lot of money and clear its criminal record in exchange for all 52 of the captured Americans. That's pretty quirky, but some people don't believe that story. Why? I'll answer that in part 2.
We've seen it happen before, actually, this year, about prison transfers.
Mysterious cemetery in the southeastern part of Iran in the village of Tis, an ancient village at least 2,300 years old. In the beliefs of the Baloch people, the jinns are associated with mystery and the deep silence of this cemetery and historical monuments. The cemetery of Jinn, what the Baloch call Jinsan, is one of these secrets. Locals believe that these tombs belong to the jinn. They have buried their dead in the fence of these stones, and when night falls, the jinn will appear on the graves of their lost ones and mourn them. They say that whoever goes to this graveyard at night will be cursed by the jinn and will shortly die with a severe punishment after a few days. Why is this cemetery known as the Cemetery of Jinn at all? The main reason is the tombstones of this cemetery. The tombstones planted in this cemetery are in such a way that they bear no resemblance to the tombstones of a human being. Although many of these stones were destroyed over the years, there are still traces of these tombstones, and there are so many that we can guess that this used to be a cemetery. The strange part of this cemetery goes back to one of the tubes that is very long and wide.
We've seen that in the first clip, man, but it was bringing it down even more.
The sky is telling us something.
What the hell? It's split. That's a weird ass phenomenon, Seekers. The sky was literally, the clouds was literally like split. What the hell, man? Hey, these clips, bro, breaking my mind sometimes. Whew.
Iranian salt mummies. In the Cherabat salt mine in Iran, several ancient mummies have been uncovered, and they're honestly among the most horrifying mummies in the world, not only because of their appearance, but also because of their tragic backstories. In 1993, the first salt mummy was discovered by workers in the local salt mine. The mummy had a long white beard, iron knives, and a single gold earring. Experts believe the mummy dates to 300 AD. Several years later, in 2004, another mummy was discovered, and it was followed by the discovery of another mummy a year later. The sixth salt mummy was discovered recently, and the preservation of the mummy's body is astounding. His hair, bones, and internal organs remained intact. This is thanks to the high salinity of the cave. In fact, one of the salt men was so incredibly well preserved that his boots even remained intact. So much so that scientists could still see his toes through radiographic imaging. Upon examining the boots, they discovered the toes of the man curled tightly towards the tip, suggesting he was wearing uncomfortable footwear while working. Scientists believe that the salt men discovered in the caves were obtaining salt when they became trapped in the cavern. After all, many of the mummies discovered showed signs of trauma, indicating that the salt men were crushed inside the cave. It's highly likely that all of them were miners who met their untimely deaths while working inside the mines. Number 8. The Cannibals of the Goffs Cave. In 2011, a macabre collection was discovered at Goffs Cave in Cheddar Gorge, southwest England. Archaeologists stumbled upon a cave that was most likely inhabited by cannibals around 14,000 years ago, after the last ice age. Several bones were discovered in the area, many showing signs of butchery. It was clear that the victims were butchered by fellow humans in order to be eaten. When they were dead, their bones were cleaned and carved into cups. Quite gruesome, huh? Number 7.
Whoa.
Crystal Sepulchre Cave. In a cave in the Taper Mountain Nature Reserve are several skeletons. Many of them are lying with their limbs spread, befitting their tragic fates. The skeletons belong to people who were sacrificed by the Maya in order to appease their gods more than 1,000 years ago. The youngest of the skeletons belonged to a 1-year-old child, and the oldest was around 45 years old. Almost all of the victims inside the cave died of blunt force trauma, indicating that many of them didn't lead happy lives. Number 6. Lost Girl. Imagine you're exploring a cave, and you suddenly hear what you think is the sound of a young girl crying. You try to find the source of the sound, and after looking around, you do see a young girl crying all alone in the middle of the cave. That's precisely what happened when an explorer named Josh ventured into the Ape Cave in Mount St. Helens in the United States. They were far inside the cave when they began hearing the sound of a child crying. One decided to take a step back and turn around, but curiosity got the best of them. Luckily, they decided to walk deeper inside. As they walked further into the cave, and as the entrance became narrower, the crying noise became louder. They found a young girl in the middle of the cave who didn't speak English. Fortunately, they coaxed the girl into following them outside the cave, where her parents frantically looked for her. Number 5.
Yeah, heroes.
Moaning Cavern. The Moaning Cavern in Vallecito, California is arguably one of the scariest caves in the world. Not because of its daunting terrain, but because of the ghosts that allegedly haunt the area. The Moaning Cavern is popular for various activities in the area, from ziplining and gem digging to spelunking. What's more, the caverns are also famous because of the many artifacts discovered in the area. In the 1840s, gold miners discovered the Moaning Caverns, and inside, they stumbled upon arrowheads and other artifacts, including a necklace that's about 8,000 years old. Human bones were also discovered in the area. Now you're probably wondering how the cave obtained its name in the first place. You see, when the first visitors of the cave stepped foot in the area, they kept hearing wailing and moaning sounds, although we now know the unnerving sounds were caused by the wind. Number 4. The Haunted Mammoth Cave. Mammoth Cave is the most extensively known cave system in the world. Many people from all around the world visit Mammoth Cave National Park. However, aside from its natural beauty, it's also well known for paranormal activity. There are more than 150 documented paranormal events around the cave. Not only are the numbers significant, but the witnesses are also credible people, even researchers and scientists. Certainly, scientists have no reason to lie about seeing a ghost, right? For this reason, the Mammoth Cave is also known as the most haunted natural wonder in the world. In 1839, the cave was purchased by Dr. John Croghan for $10,000. For that price, the cave also came with several enslaved people, including a cave guide named Stephen Bishop. Many were delighted by the tours offered by Stephen, but Croghan had a different plan. For some strange reason, he wanted to convert the cave into a hospital. The doctor built 11 huts inside the cavern, and initially 15 patients were transferred to the cavern. It was the beginning of a disaster. Shortly after, the condition of the patients worsened, and Dr. Croghan himself died of tuberculosis. Many of the slave guides died years later. People believe that to this day, they still return to the cave as spirits to see how things are. One of the new guides claimed to have seen a family of African Americans in a group he was guiding once. However, after finishing the tour, the family mysteriously disappeared. There was also no record of the family taking the cave tour. If you want to get spooked, there are countless stories on the internet about the Mammoth Cave.
All those freaky caves. The one at the end, man, he tried to build a hospital and put it in a cave. That was not a great idea. At all, Seekers, I'm sorry. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you guys are seeking the truth, man. Truly, I really appreciate the support. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload a video. Hit that like button, man. Like I said, I saw a comment yesterday that really just said, don't give up. Trust me, I won't, man. We're gonna post every single day, man. Like I said, the schedule might switch up over these past couple of days, but you guys just know, man. If you guys hit that subscribe button, man, thank you guys for joining me on my journey. We're gonna take off and explode in this algorithm, man. I truly believe that. You guys gonna catch in the next one, man. Tell me, guys, down below, what do you guys think of this video? Did you guys see anything that freaked you out, spooked you out? Put it down below. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary, creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank you guys, man, who's been tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, hitting that like button, man. You're helping us grow our community, the Seekers. Really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, also follow me on my social medias and send me videos where you guys want me to react to so I can switch it up for you guys. That's what we do best. I seek the truth.
She filmed a video of her smothering her son and sent it to her friend. This is 20-year-old Emma Rigdon from St. Louis, Missouri. On April 15th of this year, Emma was with her son when she slapped his leg and put her hand over his nose and mouth.
Ooh.
Obviously, this was preventing him from breathing. Emma decided to record this incident and send it to a friend. She also recorded another video of her covering her son's face with a blanket in her hand. This caused the boy to cry and grab at the blanket. Once she sent that video to her friend, she also sent a handful of text messages. The first text said, "I don't know, when I do that, I feel an adrenaline rush." The next text said, "I stopped right before he dies. Last time he was blue." The last twisted text she sent said, "I really want to unalive him, but I don't want to go to jail. It's unfortunate, but he's just going to have to pay for his existence."
What?
The boy ended up surviving his wounds, and now someone else is taking care of him. Emma was arrested and charged with abuse or neglect of a child. She remains in jail without bond.
This man is the most dangerous prisoner in the world. You won't believe what he did. A couple had just bought a brand new house that they moved into to start a new chapter in their lives. However, the first night that they moved into the house, they began to hear noises in the basement. The couple then decided to check the basement. When they got down to the basement, they saw this scary man immediately. They called the cops, describing what he looked like. They described him as over 6 foot tall and looked like a monster while on the phone with the police. The phone mysteriously hung up. The couple then began to scream for their lives, but you never believe what he did to them.
Photos with disturbing backstories.
Finish it.
Praying for a teammate that was murdered. The killer was present. Same and Gunnar preparing for rescue. Suffocated after rescuing 13 people.
Terrible. That's crazy, man. Like I said, these pictures and stuff, man, that we see, it always, like, gets my mind turned, man, when you look at a picture and, like, you really don't understand the backstory behind it. It can seem all innocent, and it's really like a dark history behind it. That's why you gotta pay attention, man, to the details. The picture, it tells a story.
Creepiest urban legends in the world.
It's disturbing.
The Devil's Chair, Florida. According to the locals, if you sit in this chair and leave a beer on the step, it will whisper torturing messages to you. Only one person has attempted this.
Have you ever wondered what happened on this exact date 300 years ago? Well, this is what happened in history today, part 1. Up first, on July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 landed on the moon. It was carrying Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, who would become the first humans to walk on the moon.
Okay.
Next up, on July 20th, 1793, Scottish explorer Alexander Mackenzie completed the first European east-to-west crossing of America north of Mexico. It's crazy to me that on this exact day a couple hundred years ago, people were exploring the land that we call home. Next up, on July 20th, 1881, Sioux Indian chief Sitting Bull surrendered to the U.S. federal troops. Sitting Bull was an Indian tribe leader who led his people during years of resistance against United States government policies. He surrendered in exchange for amnesty for his people. Finally, on July 20th, 1917, the World War I draft was held. Secretary Baker, who was blindfolded, drew the first number from a bull, followed by many other numbers over the course of 16 and a half hours, and every number was a different man. And believe it or not, but on that day, 1.3 million men were called up for the draft. This literally happened on this exact day a little over 100 years ago.
It's crazy, man. How many incidents happened on July 20th, man? I mean, I don't know, there's a type of energy going around on that day or something like that, bro. I'm really gonna have to check out those events to actually make sure that they happen. See, because you can do that as well, man. It seems like July 20th, we're gonna have to mark that date in our calendars. This looks like some big stuff goes down on that day. Not alone. What are we about to see? Edit. Call it like I said.
Further that you look into dark history, you start to realize just how dark it really is. This woman behind me, this is Lorleen Wallace. She was the first female governor of Alabama, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer. Dark history for Lorleen was that, legally, doctors did not have to tell her. They only told her husband. Really let that sink in. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, terminal cancer, and only her husband was told. Her husband decided not to tell her. Legally, he didn't have to. It was thought at the time that women's nerves were too fragile to be able to handle news like this, so only their husbands were told. I think we're probably going to cover this on the podcast, because this is actually a pretty in-depth story, if you want to listen. Basically, the way this story ends is that Lorleen, she does become governor. She runs, but she only lives through the first year of her term. She was never initially told she was dying.
Fun fact.
That's insane.
Most of the thermostats found in office buildings are fake and only there to trick workers into thinking the temperature has been changed, but really they don't do anything.
Whoa.
To keep things as efficient and cost-effective as possible, most buildings have been converted to automatic thermostat systems, where sensors are placed in the building that read the temperature in the room and then turn on the heat or cooling whenever the temperature gets out of range. And generally, the temperature is set by the landlord, not the renter. Since heating and cooling costs can quickly spiral out of control, most commercial leases include a specific air temperature range for the building. But managers, landlords, and HVAC technicians got tired of the constant calls from workers telling them the heat or air conditioning wasn't working, so they came up with a solution. They began installing fake thermostats in offices so workers could have the illusion of control over the temperature, but really they don't do anything. And one HVAC technician estimated 9 out of 10 office thermostats are fake.
The craziest execution methods. Part 8. The nitric acid bath. Heavily used by ISIS in Iraq, but there are reports of it being used in other Middle Eastern countries. Bound to other prisoners and placed inside of an iron cage. You were then slowly lowered into a vat of nitric acid. Nitric acid is a colorless liquid highly corrosive to the human body. The scariest part is, they don't completely submerge you. They dip you in and out just enough to dissolve your organs. Fuck that.
These are some extreme...
That's a bad way to go out, Seekers. Couldn't even imagine that. It's like they're trying to purge you or something like that. Edit.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 21. This photo shows an 8-month-old Zhao Bao who was lucky to be alive because his mother stabbed him 90 times after he bit her while she was breastfeeding him. The world's scariest haunted house, McCamey Manor, requires you to sign a 40-page waiver and undergo a physical and mental evaluation. If you manage to make it through the house, you could win $20,000. But to this day, no one has ever made it through. The little girl who voiced Ducky in The Land Before Time was shot to death by her father, who then committed suicide. Roman Emperor Nero had a boy castrated, dressed him up as a bride, and married him, all because the boy looked similar to his previous dead wife. A 46-year-old man found and attacked a 13-year-old boy because the kid was killing him too many times in a game of Call of Duty.
4 scary...
That last one takes the kid. Just because he was getting his freaking butt whooped in Call of Duty, he decided to take it to that extreme, bro. You can't even play games nowadays, Seekers, man, without somebody trying to hunt you down because they mad at you. That's what we're coming to, man. That's like, be careful, man. If y'all talking on those Call of Duty lobbies, those are one of the most dangerous places to be in.
Facts about night in Islam. Number 1, you die every night. According to this verse of the Holy Quran, every night when you go to sleep, your soul is removed from your body. If it is written that you will live, your soul will return in the morning when you wake up. But if it's written that you will die, your soul will stay with Allah and you will pass away in your sleep. Number 2, jinns at night. The barrier between our world and the world of the jinns is weakest at night. This is when jinns and dark creatures cross through, possessing and harming human beings that may still be awake. So if you're up beating your schlong at 3 a.m., watch out. Number 3, dogs at night. According to this hadith, if you hear a dog barking at night, seek protection from Allah because they can see what you cannot. And number 4, lock your doors at night. According to this hadith, if you lock your doors, shaitan will not be able to enter your home. Be careful at night.
You gonna check those out, Seekers, man? Dark Fox and Islam?
Scary things you never knew. The last one is shocking. Taylor Swift was one celebrity that said she was concerned with climate change. But funny enough, her private jet emits more carbon in a single trip than your car does in your entire lifetime. And that jet has flown over 200 times in the past year. This is supposedly where you'll be in the next 5 years. Comment down below what your month says about you.
What
the United States has about 6 nuclear weapons that are still missing. And nobody knows where they went or who has them. A man had donated his mother's body to scientific research when she had passed away. The research facility then sold the body to the U.S. Army for $5,000. The Army then strapped it to a chair and blew it up with explosives. Would you rather spend one night in this bathroom or kiss the third person that appears when you click share and then more? If you Google Halloween Google 2022, a scary multiplayer game will pop up that you can play with your friends. Go try it and let me know if it works for you. Before we get to the last scary thing, please support my page by clicking the follow button for more interesting posts every day. Ducks sometimes become cannibals due to boredom. Yeah, they're not so cute now. What's worse is this behavior starts as early as 4 weeks old.
What facts surprised you guys the most, man? I think it was about those missing news, bro. I'm surprised I didn't make like national news. What the hell going on? It's insane.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your life. The youngest inmate to have died at Kingston Pen, which is Canada's first prison, was 9 years old. He died of tuberculosis, and his crime was larceny in 1857. A typical jar of peanut butter contains 10 or more rodent hairs, averaging 1 or more rodent hairs per 100 grams. Dr. Seuss actually cheated on his wife, Helen Palmer, who was sick with cancer. She then killed herself by overdosing on barbiturates. Russia and Pluto have about the same surface area. The 2 times Snickers bar is really only 1.5 Snickers. At the age of 25 years is when your body stops producing cells faster than it can replace them, meaning your body begins dying very slowly and breaking down. There's a slight chance you could die from spontaneously combusting. Thousands of people die every year due to doctors' sloppy handwriting on prescriptions. Forensic scientists can tell when and sometimes how someone has died by looking at the type of insects that have begun to gather in and around a dead body. Your eyeballs will flatten soon after you die. Hit the plus sign if you want to learn more facts.
Facts, man, that got to y'all the most. I think it's how I was saying you could just spontaneously combust. Like, I've never heard any cases like that, man. What the hell is going on in our world, bro? You could just combust spontaneously.
Do you ever see a picture that just makes your stomach drop? This is a still from an alert that a woman named Alexis Randall got on her phone. It's from a security camera that was set up in her living room, and she's looking at this and she's thinking the same thing you are. She's like, what's wrong with the picture here? Why did the motion detector go off? But then look a bit closer, specifically at the bathroom door. This man was staring at the camera from the doorway. She spots this picture and she immediately
immediately panics and calls the police, but by the time they get there, this guy is gone. What really freaked her out even more is that when police got there, they found evidence that the bathroom window had been tampered with. Further security footage would show that the man had crawled through the bathroom window the night before and was hiding in the hallway bathroom all through the night, even while she was in the house.
You can't even see until you zoomed in.
Bad now.
I mean, she could probably charge with child porn.
Who, she can? She's 11 years old.
She's creating it, right?
She's 11 years old.
Doesn't matter. He's still making porn.
No, she's not. She's being manipulated by Brian.
Is she taking pictures of?
You guys have a nice evening.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
A man who attempted to murder a teenager and left her.
They're gonna arrest that girl because she was making it.
It's a miracle that Ashley Reeves survived an attempted murder, but now her attacker is walking free. It was the 29th of April 2006 in Belleville, Illinois. At around 2 a.m., officers found 17-year-old Ashley Reeves just moments from death. She'd been left in the woods to die for over 30 hours. Paramedics rushed her to hospital and placed her in an induced coma. She was actually in such a bad way that they'd initially thought she was dead. 2 days prior to this, Ashley told her parents that she had an interview to attend. She was in a relationship with a boy called Jeremy Smith at the time, and she took his car to drive herself to the interview. When she didn't come home, her parents were extremely worried. They called authorities and began the hunt. Officers later discovered her boyfriend's abandoned car, and inside were a change of clothes that Ashley had taken to change into after her interview. That's when they discovered Ashley nearby. She'd been strangled with a belt and had her neck broken, but miraculously she was still alive. Police discovered a man named Samson Shelton was the last person to contact her. He was her teacher and a professional wrestler. They arrested him on suspicion of attempted murder. He changed his story multiple times before eventually admitting to strangling the poor girl. He said he broke her neck with his arm. He said the pair had gotten into an argument over a relationship they were having. He said they had sex, and then after the vicious attack, he had thrown her into the woods. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison, but has recently just been released on parole after serving just 17 years. It truly is a miracle that Ashley managed to survive this attack, and her story was made into a movie named Left for Dead: The Ashley Reeves Story.
Disturbing facts from history you wish you didn't know. One of the most horrifying true stories you'll ever hear has to be that of Russia's Cannibal Island. In the summer of 1933, thousands of Russian citizens were rounded up by police and sent to live on a tiny, swampy island in Siberia's Oba River. The plan was for the deportees to construct a special settlement as part of Joseph Stalin's new social engineering plan to rid Moscow of all undesirable elements. In May, the first 3,000 prisoners were dropped off by barge on Nazino Island. They were given no tools, food, or shelter. These were mostly city dwellers who had no farming experience or any skills for surviving outdoors. In a short time, the weather conditions quickly deteriorated with rain, snow, and freezing winds sweeping over the island. Even still, more barges kept coming, dropping off even more people. Guards patrolled the icy waters, threatening to shoot anyone who tried to escape. For a while, every 4 or 5 days, they would drop off sacks of moldy rye flour as the only food source on the island. The inhabitants would take the flour to the river, mix it with water and drink it. Eating it dry was nearly impossible. Accidentally breathing the flour in its original state could be suffocating. Early on, many people lost their lives by freezing. Some burned alive by sleeping too close to the fires. Others became ill from drinking the brackish water. Things grew far worse for the survivors once starvation set in. Soon, the strongest of the island's prisoners began hunting the weakest members for food. Rumors quickly spread back in Moscow that the island's prisoners had begun eating each other. The experiment ended just 13 weeks after it had begun. Soldiers were sent to evacuate the island. What they found when they got there is beyond a nightmare. Corpses stripped of their flesh littered the tall grass. Skeletal limbs and human organs were discovered hanging from trees. One woman who had been transferred to another camp was missing her calves. That's because some of the prisoners cut them off while she was alive. She only survived because the frigid temperatures kept her alive. Of the 6,700 prisoners brought to Nazino Island, 4,000 went missing or were killed. The events on Russia's Cannibal Island were covered up until 1988, when secret records were finally released to the public.
That's some dark history, bro. Russia got Cannibal Island. What the hell? It's a whole ass experiment, man. Makes you think what other stuff is covered up that we don't know about.
Terrifying things that our own government did to us in our past. Here we go. Starting in 1953, the CIA illegally experimented on U.S. and Canadian citizens. The project was called MK Ultra, or Operation Mind Control. The government recruited over 80 institutions and over 150 researchers to do their dirty work for them. They were using biological and chemical agents on their participants, but the worst of all was the LSD experiments. They would use prisoners, mental patients, and even drug addicts for these experiments. This scene in Stranger Things is actually taken from the MK Ultra experiments, where one patient was given LSD for 174 days in a row. Heroin, morphine, alcohol, marijuana were all used as well. They say that the experiments lasted all the way until 1973. Some people, like Ken Kesey, actually volunteered for this, which led to the electric Kool-Aid acid test in the 1960s with the...
And I think about Stranger Things, you guys know that scene with Elle and where she was training and stuff. They said they based it off that. I never put two and two together until now. And I was just talking about how some stuff about we don't know what stuff got covered up, man. And it's just like coincidence. Next video, next clip, just pulled it up, man. Tap in with us, bro. We learning. Gotta pay attention.
This little boy lost his life by treadmill due to his father. So this man is currently on trial for this. So I just watched the video, and on the video, the little boy seems to be walking for a long time. The father walks over, speeds up the treadmill while talking to the little boy. Then he speeds it up some more. Then he inclines, and the little boy is struggling. You can see his little legs just going as fast as they can to keep up with the treadmill. Like he's full on sprinting, and at some point, he can't keep up, and he falls off. Like he just rolls off the treadmill and hits the ground. The father picks him up, tosses him back on the treadmill, bites him on top of the head while holding him down on the treadmill and making his feet keep up with the speed. As soon as the father lets him go, he rolls off the treadmill again, bumps his head, hits the floor. He jumps up, gets back on the treadmill, tries to keep up with it again, falls. He repeats this about 3 or 4 times. That's where the father is biting him on the head right there. So eventually the father does slow the treadmill down and brings the incline down, but he makes the boy continue to run. So the father and the mother does have like some type of joint custody, shared custody type of situation, I guess. And the mother is the first one to report the injuries to Child Protection. And she tells him to take their son to the hospital, and he does. While at the hospital, that's when the little boy revealed that his father made him run on the treadmill because he was fat. This little boy is little, even if he was fat. And so the next day when they wake up, the little boy is stumbling, he's slurring his words, he's nauseous, so he does rush him to the hospital. And while they're getting a CT scan, the little boy has a seizure, and they have to take life-preventing measures, and they were unsuccessful. The little boy did pass away. Now, the autopsy revealed that there were blunt force injuries. It was cardiac and liver contusions, sepsis. There was lacerations on his heart and liver. Now, if you go to YouTube and watch the video, because his father is currently on trial, and it shows the video, y'all see how hard this little boy kept hitting that treadmill when he fall, and the way his dad would put him back on there, you will see why he had the injuries that he had. And they have offered the father a 30-year plea deal, and he turned it down. They got footage. I'm glad he turned it down. He's gonna get even more time.
Things humans were never meant to see. Man transforms into real werewolf.
Okay. Let's see. A werewolf? We don't see nothing yet. You believe this, Seekers? The fuck? This has to be like a well put together edit, right? What the fuck? A werewolf. That's what we're going with. I ain't gonna lie, that kind of looked like edited to me. I don't know, man. Like I said, tell me down below, guys, if you guys believe that. You guys want me to check into that, man? That looks freaking weird. But okay. Guys, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that post notification bell, hit that like button, man. Also, man, like I said, guys, I need you guys to follow me on my social medias, man. If you guys want me to react to different TikToks and clips, you guys follow me on my social medias, and you guys can send it to me in my DMs so I can incorporate them into the next video if you guys want me trying to, because I know how you said you guys want me to switch it up, so I need your guys' support, man. Like I said, just follow me on my social medias and send me the videos in my DMs, and I can incorporate that for the next video so we can help each other out, man. Like I said, we're gonna grow our community together. You guys gonna catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, man. Let me tell you, we break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man. It's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, hitting that like button. Really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, man. Let's seek the truth.
This is why you should be careful what you put in the mail. In 2015, a man was asked by his neighbor to collect his mail while he was gone for a few weeks. A few days later, a large package arrives on his neighbor's front porch. The man can barely lift it, but gets over to his garage where he accidentally drops it and hears something break inside. Hoping his neighbor would think the damage occurred en route, he closes his squeaky garage door and forgets about it. But over the next couple of days, whatever was in that package started to smell so bad that he decides to open it up. Inside were two very important finds: his neighbor, who was dead, and a camera that was still recording. The police bring the man in for questioning and show him what was on the camera inside the box. It starts with his neighbor talking to the camera about how excited he is to mail himself home for his YouTube channel. Then, police fast forward to the very end where they see that the neighbor is now sleeping in the box, and then suddenly gets dropped and you hear a crack. And that's his neck breaking. And then you hear a squeaky garage door close.
I remember that challenge when it was like going rampant through the internet, man. I saw the big YouTubers, Rice Gum, a couple of others, man, doing that challenge. Goes to show you, man, those challenges and those YouTube views, they worth your life, man. Some of those, you know, went to the extremes back in the day, man, for those YouTube challenges. That's actually insane. Man.
Send this video to someone that is absolutely terrified of clowns. A young boy named Nathan was walking alone to meet up with some friends at a nearby carnival. When he arrived, they rode roller coasters and eventually made their way to a circus tent with live performers. They went inside and saw a group of clowns performing. They were dancing, juggling, and one of them was riding a unicycle. The boys got closer to the stage, and the one riding the unicycle slipped and fell, and his red nose landed right beside Nathan, who picked it up, put it in his pocket, figuring the clown had plenty more. After the show was over, Nathan was walking back home when suddenly he heard a slight chuckle. He turned around and shined his flashlight.
He can make out a shadowy figure holding a sharp object in his hand. The figure said in a creepy, sinister voice, "I believe you have something of mine." Nathan slowly backed away, pleading, "No, I don't. Please leave me alone." The figure stepped into the light. It was the clown from the carnival. He said, "Well, if you're not going to give me my nose, I'm gonna need yours."
Got mess with clowns, figures? Not me.
Films, Part 53. Hostel. This one's about college students who are traveling through Europe. They party in Amsterdam and have plans to head to Barcelona next. But then they meet a man named Alexei who convinces them to head to Slovakia next. They have their fun the first night, but then one goes missing. And they quickly realize that the hostel they're staying in is more like a torture chamber. This one is pretty gory. And it's particularly scary to me because I've stayed in a lot of hostels. I'm just glad I didn't end up in one like this. It's available to watch for free on Peacock, so let me know what you guys think.
You guys gonna go check that movie out?
Remember, your Amazon Alexa is always listening. In 2018, a girl named Alexa came home to her apartment to find her creepy stalker landlord in her kitchen. She screams and threatens to call the cops, and he just smiles and says, "I was just checking in on you," and leaves. Feeling totally sketched out, she spends the next few hours down the hall in her friend's apartment before finally going back to her room to go to bed. That night, she woke up to her Amazon Alexa responding to someone in the room. It said, "I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you say I'm watching you?" The girl instantly turns on her lights and looks around, but no one's there. So she unplugs Alexa and is about to go back to sleep when she hears what sounds like a man grunting in her closet. As she's staring at her closet, her Alexa turns back on.
What the hell? That was just a movie situation, but we saw some of those weird cases, you know, going on with Alexa, man. You asking her some creepy questions to try to get a response back. And it definitely did, man. That's like some sound, man. Some technology or something trying to take over. We cannot let that happen, bro. Gotta disable your Alexa and Siri, man. They learned too much info. How's that screaming? That an edit or something? How the hell was she locked up?
This game is apparently very dangerous. People theorize that it's what Elisa Lam was doing in my previous video. Basically, you get into the elevator alone and go to level 4. Stay in the elevator and go to the 2nd floor. Stay again and go to the 6th floor. Then the 2nd, then the 10th, then the 5th. When you get to the 5th floor, a woman will enter the elevator, but don't look at her, don't talk to her, she's not what she seems. Press the button to the 1st floor. If the elevator takes you to the 1st floor, you must leave without looking back. The game's over. Or it will take you to the 10th floor where you can leave or you can stay. If you leave, you'll be in the other world. All the lights will be off, you'll be alone, and you'll see a red cross in the distance. When you choose to return, you must travel back in the same elevator you came in, which can be confusing because the other world is very disorienting. You may faint or pass out and wake back up in your home, but be careful to make sure it's really your home. There are some crazy stories of people's experiences with this game on Reddit. Do you guys think it's real?
I never play those type of games, man, when they pop up across the videos we watch to get to see, because I'm not risking that bad energy and nothing even happening, so I leave it to those who do that, and we just try to recap their experiences, but I'm never going to play any of those games. No, not for me. Tell me down below, would you guys even attempt to try it? Bare your souls if you do. Edit, you gotta call it out like how you see it.
I pray to my God every day.
Every day.
On my knees every day. You see me when I pray my God, I don't play.
I don't play, on my knees.
Did you guys see that? I'm not the only one, man. If y'all watched the circuit, there was definitely someone who popped in and it like popped out really quickly. And they had no idea. Gotta be aware of our surroundings. I don't know who the hell that
was. This is a horror film.
The shots of the movie was on the house. What the hell? Dream Man? What the hell is his story? We want to find some facts about that. Damn, that won't even end it. We couldn't even learn nothing. What the? Ooh. What the hell? It's like a demon that just came out the damn TV. This is some creepy fact. Okay, somebody. It's definitely a little like an edit. Did he really just try to walk into the house? Afterwards? Oh yeah, he was definitely like freaking following that girl, bro. She just closed the door all oblivious, man. That's what I be saying. You never know who's watching you, bro. They really be trying to run up in your own house. I don't get people, bro. No place is sacred.
Here are some of the worst things ever found on the dark web, part 1. This is why you should never send nudes. This is the story of Pink Meth. Despite the name, the website Pink Meth had nothing to do with drugs. Pink Meth was a market mainly for men where they would sell nude photos of their exes for a hefty amount of money. But that's not all. Pink Meth would then post these photos alongside the woman's names, home addresses, phone numbers, and any other information the operators could dig up. Then a ransom on the content was delivered to the victim. They would tell all the females, pay up to have the photo removed or let the whole of the dark web have access to your personal information, including your nude photos. So never, ever send nudes. Pretty cool.
He was spitting, bro. I'm not that type of person. I was just like, no, I just don't even do that because too many things go through my mind. I'm like, nope. Somebody could try to get access to that. They could try to use it in the future to like use against you. Nah, that ain't gonna happen to me. So I'm not even on that type of time. No, you just gave a creepy ass story while you shouldn't. Because all your information gonna be out there, bro. On the dark web with that, too. They have your location and everything. Nah, that ain't for me, man. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're true ones seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe. Hit that post notification bell as well so you always get notified when I drop. I do daily uploads, so hopefully you guys appreciate that, man. We're grinding. We're going to continue to keep growing and get better with each and every single video. Guys, gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel and you guys don't know what we do, we break down scary, creepy videos, man. On the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank you guys, man, who's been tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, hitting that like button, man. We're growing the community, the seekers together, so I really appreciate your support, man. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this new update, my new reacting style. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
This is the Hello Kitty murder case, and it's one of the most gruesome true crime stories you may ever hear about. This happened in 1999, and Fan here was abducted by 3 men and a girl. Fan Man Yu was then held inside of a flat that one of the killers rented out for about a month. She was tortured and beaten, and they even tried to pimp her out. And apparently she was hung up and used as a punching bag. They even went as far as burning up her legs so that she couldn't even walk. She also had no real food to eat. They forced her to eat human feces. After that immense stress her body went through, she died after a little over a month being held captive there. This is where things get even crazier. They cut up her body, dismembered her completely, and then cooked up her head. They then stuffed her half-cooked head into a Hello Kitty mermaid doll. Investigators found this and found many insects inside of it as well. The rest of her dismembered body was discarded somewhere. The only pieces of evidence the investigators found was the skull inside of the Hello Kitty doll, some teeth on the ground, and organs in the freezer. Reading this story makes me just feel so horrible for Fan Man-Yi and the torture she went through. This is definitely the worst true crime case I've ever read about, and then there are just so many more details I can't even say. Let me know what you guys think about this case in the comment section below, and as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
It's definitely one of the darkest cases, man, we heard.
Sent it to her friend. This is 20-year-old Emma Rigdon from St. Louis, Missouri. On April 15th of this year, Emma was with her son when she slapped his leg and put her hand over his nose and mouth. Obviously, this was preventing him from breathing. Emma decided to record this incident and send it to a friend.
What the
She also recorded another video of her covering her son's face with a blanket in her hand. This caused the boy to cry and grab at the blanket. Once she sent that video to her friend, she also sent a handful of text messages. The first text said, "I don't know, when I do that, I feel an adrenaline rush."
Yeah, she's weird.
The next text said, "I stopped right before he dies. Last time he was blue." The last twisted text she sent said, "I really want to unalive him, but I don't want to go to jail. It's unfortunate, but he's just going to have to pay for his existence." The boy ended up surviving his wounds, and now someone else is taking care of him. Emma was arrested and charged with abuse or neglect of a child.
Yeah, she should.
She remains in jail without bond.
The most disturbing cults in history, Part 1. These are the Anthill Kids, founded by this man, Roch Thériault, in Quebec, Canada. These events took place throughout the 70s and 80s. Using his excellent charismatic skills, he actually convinced a group of people to quit their jobs and follow him, promising unity and equality. He forbid them contact with their family and moved them out to the mountains. He called it Eternal Mountain. In 1978, he prepared for doomsday, having his followers build a town that could save them. He relaxed while they worked and compared them to ants on an anthill. To gain more followers and keep them devoted, he impregnated all female members. They were also forced to wear the same outfit, promoting equality.
Those are some dangerous people, man, who can like control and manipulate you like that, and just make you go against your family. Those are some dangerous people, man. Definitely gonna have to stay away from them. Isn't that Prince Harry? She didn't look like she was smiling. Fake relationship? What? It's a facade? Is that what they're trying to tell us? You know, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes with the Warrior family. It wouldn't be a surprise, would it? Edit. Gotta call it out like I said.
Here are some morbid facts about the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Following the radiation leak, there were an estimated 150,000 abortions across Eastern Europe due to radiophobia. Many parents didn't want their babies to be born with mutations, even though the risk for most was quite low. Vasily Ignatenko was one of the first firemen to respond to the nuclear leak. After being exposed, he suffered in constant excruciating pain for 18 days before dying. He reportedly excreted blood more than 25 times per day and coughed up pieces of his own organs in those final days. When Pripyat was abandoned, people weren't allowed to bring their pets with them. Instead, firing squads were sent door to door to shoot pet cats and dogs so that they wouldn't transfer the radiation. Local ranchers noticed a dramatic increase in the genetic mutations of their animals following the leak. Some of the abnormalities included extra limbs and body parts in the wrong locations. It's been more than 4 decades since the Chernobyl accident, but experts estimate that Pripyat will remain uninhabitable for another 20,000 years.
This is the first day my Barbie became alive. It was trying to walk, so I helped it. I made a huge mistake. My Barbie is learning to talk in Ohio now.
That's weird. Barbie's alive?
These are the foremost haunted dolls in the world. First is the Annabelle doll, which inspired the Conjuring movies, which, as you guys know, is one of the most haunted dolls in the world. She's able to not only move herself, but also move objects, and is supposedly inhabited by an extremely demonic being, forcing her to constantly be in a spirit box. Then have Ruby, which in my opinion is one of the most terrifying due to the fact that it's a porcelain doll, which all of our mothers and grandmothers have. Ruby doesn't do anything crazy, but the scariest part is supposedly the ancestor who had this doll prior passed while holding this doll, and now supposedly inhabits it. And it's a porcelain doll, which makes it absolutely terrifying. Then have Letta, who's a 200-year-old doll found underneath a house in Australia, said to make noises in the night, moved by itself. And the owner has a specific account of when he was moving, he heard this doll scream while being in the trunk, screaming, "Let me out." I'm good on everything that. Then you have Robert the doll, who in my opinion is probably the most haunted and cursed doll on this list. Said to be so cursed that if you take a picture or look at him without his permission, he can curse you. And this has happened to multiple people who decided to film Robert without his permission. This doll not only moves by itself, the previous owner has made multiple statements of hearing this doll run inside of the attic. On top of that, the neighbors have seen Robert peeking out the window in the second story, while no one was up there. These dolls, they're scary.
I'm not a dolls person, bro. I gotta keep the dolls away from me, man. They're just creepy to me. Was that doll alive though, the last one? Did we believe that, Seekers?
Have you guys heard of the Night Lady? This all started in Chihuahua, Mexico, 2009. Residents started noticing something really disturbing. You see, now some of the children in the area were going missing. I gotta grab some food for this one. Look at this beautiful roll. Now with all the children around the area going missing, people started reporting seeing a woman. They said she would climb on the rooftops during the day, only to wait till night to sneak in through the window to snatch children. Police then sketched an image of what they believed to be the Night Lady. Only one child has been reported of actually escaping the Night Lady. You see, his parents had ran into the room and caught her just in time. She quickly then escaped and crawled out of the window. Wait, before I continue, let's say the Night Lady had taken you. Your third act has to come and save you. Who is it? Let me know who it is. Anyways, the kid that got away recounted waking up in the middle of the night and seeing the Night Lady standing over top of him just watching him. People have brushed this off as just one big hoax. Until after midnight, a teenage girl had captured this photo. This is supposedly the Night Lady.
4K. Gotta believe when the kids are saying,
This
man.
is the scariest story about I'm Sorry Mommy. One night, a woman was in the kitchen reading a newspaper when she suddenly looked up and saw her 6-year-old son staring at her. She said, "Something wrong, dear?" "I had a nightmare," said the boy, "and I can't sleep." "Well, don't worry, you're safe now," said the mother. "I dreamed I was in bed and heard a sound in Daddy's room," he said. "And when I looked in the door, I saw 2 big black things with white eyes. It came out of the closet and it attacked Daddy." "Don't worry," said the mother in a soothing voice. "It was just a dream. It didn't really happen." The boy then continued saying they ripped him into pieces and then ate him after. And they even licked the blood off the floor. "I thought if I ran away they wouldn't catch me, but they did. They were going to eat me, but they stopped and said, they wouldn't eat me if I promised to..." "To what?" said the mother. "Promise to distract you while they creep up behind you." "I'm sorry, Mommy," said the boy as the mother heard the floorboards behind her creak. The boy then watched with enjoyment as his mother was ripped apart piece by piece, with a giant smile on his face.
This is the most terrifying McDonald's you'll ever see. In 1986, the first floating McDonald's called the McBarge opened up. The plan was for the boat to travel around the world and for people to enjoy McDonald's everywhere. But then something crazy happened. The 5 employees that lived on the boat went crazy. They started to hear voices at night and even began hallucinating. All of this slowly started driving them insane. After 3 years of this, one fry cook decided enough was enough. She decided to end her life. Her body was discovered on this very boat the next morning. The McDonald's were forced to close and was even abandoned for over 20 years. It seemed like everyone forgot about this floating nightmare. This was the case until 2 years ago when a company decided to renovate the boat. And this article was published about renovating the boat. But a year later, there was still no news about it. And the McBarge was still abandoned. But then a couple YouTubers decided to swim and break into the McBarge. As they went around, everything was eerily silent. Black can fall off apart too.
Yeah, that didn't even make it like national news. You would think something like that would, right, Seekers? A floating McDonald's? Yeah, we ain't heard nothing about that. Why is that? We gotta put our thinking caps on for that one.
This girl killed her mum and then texted a photo of her body to her dad.
In 2013, Rachel Hudson and her family were supposed to be celebrating Thanksgiving at their home in Virginia. However, the holiday would take a horrendously sinister turn. Rachel's mum was terminally ill 58-year-old Susan Lee. Rachel had been her mum's carer since she was just 9 years old.
Oh.
On the evening in question, Rachel and her dad got into an argument. When her dad left the house the next day to make the most of the Black Friday sales, Rachel did something unthinkable. She took a weapon out of the wardrobe and loaded it. She apparently thought about unaliving herself at this point, but she didn't want to put her mum through the trauma of finding her body. She then walked into the room where her mum was and said, "I'm sorry, this is what has to happen." Her mum apparently told her, "You're crazy," and this is the point where Rachel killed her mum. When she texted her dad to break the news to him, he obviously didn't believe what she was saying. She then took a photo of her mum's body and texted it over to her dad. Rachel was sentenced initially to 50 years in prison, but this was reduced to 18 years because of an apparent undiagnosed mental illness.
This is the scariest song
Imagine
in
a
the
dad
world,
getting
and
that
here's
message,
why.
bro.
Okay, so we all heard this song before, especially if you're into scary things and watch the Insidious movies. But do you know the very disturbing and chilling backstory behind this song? Well, the song is called Tiptoe Through the Tulips, and it was recorded and released in 1968 by American singer Tiny Tim.
Alright.
And when the song was first released, it didn't have the scary reputation it has now. However, this would change during his last ever live performance of the song. On September 28, 1996, Tiny Tim suffered a heart attack that was pretty miniature while performing at a music festival. And after this happened, his doctors advised him that he wasn't healthy enough to perform on stage anymore. However, Tiny Tim ignored the advice from his doctors and scheduled another concert at a women's club in Minnesota the next month. But right before his performance, he told his wife that he wasn't feeling that good. Nevertheless, Tiny Tim decided to go on stage anyway. And after performing the last song of the night, he suffered a major heart attack on stage and died in front of the crowd. And the song he was performing was Tiptoe Through the Tulips. This song was already terrifying, but it's 100 times more terrifying after knowing this. Now listen to it again after knowing this.
It's a different vibe. And shows and movies using that knowing happened, man. There's always a dark story.
On March 19th, 2024, in Mississippi, 14-year-old Carly Gregg made a phone call to one of her friends saying, quote, "Do you want to see a body?" Moments after making the call, Carly's stepfather walked into the home to see his wife, Ashley Smiley, unalived from wounds. Ashley was a loved individual who friends and family claimed she was a, quote, "loving and caring teacher who wanted the best for her students." When her stepfather entered the home, at the same moment, Carly pulled out a gun and in the midst of the struggle, he was able to successfully disarm her, leaving Carly to escape the home, going on the run. It did not take police long to find and arrest her, and in most cases, children will be tried as a juvenile, but in Carly's case, she'll be tried as an adult for the unaliving of her mother and the attempted unaliving of her stepfather. From what I read on Reddit, people seem to be split 50-50 as they believe she should not be tried as an adult. What are your thoughts?
Why did she even do that, man? That's the real question we need to be asking. The story behind it. Need details on that, case seekers.
I'm alone and you hear a knock, don't answer the door. That was my grandmother's one rule when she left me the family house. I thought it was just the rantings of an old woman. I didn't know how real the rule was until the other night. The house I inherited was deep in the forest, far from bustling city noises. Silence was the unspoken language here, except sometimes you would hear the owls. But the other night when I was sitting in the living room reading a book, that's when I heard it. There was a single knock at the front door. And then I remembered my grandmother's warning. If you're home alone and you hear one knock, don't answer the door. I looked over at my grandfather clock in the corner. It was midnight. I told myself that the knock was just a figment of my imagination. It was just the house settling, or a fallen branch against the door. But then it came again, a single solitary knock. but this time it sounded closer. I was panicking. I just stood there staring at the door. The third knock was so loud that it made the door rattle. There was no more denying it. Something was at the door.
If you see this happen, you need to run fast. If you see these orange dots on a tree in the woods, you seriously need to run fast. It might just look like orange paint, but don't be fooled. This is a trap. There have been loads of reports of missing people in these types of woods. So if you see these orange markings in the woods, you need to run fast. Make sure you share this message and follow for more.
Why the hell was he there? He risking his life.
Now this video has got the internet going crazy because a guy in Melbourne, Australia is quite literally claiming that his dog was playing with a ghost. And after watching this, I bloody believe him. Now he insists that his backyard is fully secured and locked by a high fence where there is no way for another dog to get in. He also said that he ran outside to check if he hadn't lost the plot and that the ghost dog was nowhere to be seen. And if this video hasn't got you contemplating life, another video which has scarred me for life is this bastard. Now keep your eyes on the collar of the black dog on the right. So as you can see, the two dogs are just barking and barking, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, for some reason, they just go completely quiet. A few seconds later, the black dog then randomly jerks backwards into the side of the crate, and its collar comes off of its own accord.
Is that an edit or was that real?
Have you ever wondered why Domino's dropped their Noid mascot back in the 90s? Just like how McDonald's has Ronald McDonald and Burger King had the King, Domino's had the Noid. First created in 1986, the slogan was "Avoid the Noid," as he would try to thwart pizza deliveries.
The Noid loves to move pizza. Whole Domino's pizza. We avoid the Noid.
But this all changed for Domino's on January 30th, 1989.
Okay.
On that day, Kenneth Lamar Noid took 2 Domino's Pizza employees hostage with a .357 Magnum in Georgia. Now, the entire ordeal lasted about 5 hours, and his demands were $10,000, a getaway car, and a copy of the book The Widow's Son. He also demanded the employees make him a pizza. While he was enjoying the pizza, they managed to escape and no one was hurt. Kenneth was arrested and charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault, and theft by extortion. So what exactly did the Domino's Noid have to do with Kenneth Noid?
Yeah.
He had become convinced that the ads were directly aimed at him, with his last name being Noid and the ad saying, "Avoid the Noid." One of the arresting officers at the scene said that he was having an ongoing feud in his mind. Believing that the commercials were made to mock him, he fully believed that the owner of Domino's Pizza was telling people to avoid him.
Avoid the Noid. Avoid the Noid. Avoid the Noid.
Now, he was charged but found not guilty due to reasons of insanity and was sent to a Georgia mental health clinic. Domino's continued on as normal until another incident in 1995. Still convinced that the pizza chain was out to get him, Kenneth took his own life in his Florida apartment. Following this, the pizza chain immediately stopped using the Noid in their marketing campaigns. Since then, the Noid has made a few smaller appearances on t-shirts, in pinball machines, in a video game, and a small snippet in an ad. Now, in 2021, Domino's released an ad showcasing their new driverless delivery vehicles. The ad showing off that the Noid is back, but he has not been seen since that ad.
This true crime case will make your blood boil. Over a decade ago, 19-year-old Cara Nichols vanished. The teenager was born and raised in Colorado Springs and unfortunately had begun using substances throughout high school. She was reported missing on the 14th of October 2012. At this point, her roommates hadn't heard from her for 5 days. Police soon learned that she'd actually spoken to her brother on the phone on the 9th of October at around 11:45 p.m. She told him that she was on her way to a modelling shoot. The next day, unsettlingly, her phone was going straight to answer phone. It was actually her brother that ended up travelling to her apartment to figure out what was going on. He spoke to her roommates and the alarm was raised. Now, Cara's laptop was actually still at her apartment, which was concerning because if she just decided to up and left, she wouldn't have left her laptop behind. When investigators started digging into the case, they found that Cara had been placing ads as an S worker. Interestingly, she'd actually posted an ad with her phone number on it the same day she went missing. Police also found out that her phone had been used on that day too at almost midnight. Investigators started looking into exactly which numbers she'd received calls from and set about contacting the individuals. They got a return call of Joel Hollendorfer. He admitted to police that yes, he had spoke to the girl about S services, but they'd never ended up meeting. However, when police tracked Kara's phone, her last activity was in the area of Joel's parents' house. Police ended up searching the property with a cadaver dog. Disturbingly, the dog barked in loads of different areas on the property to indicate remains. However, the owner of the property stated that this must be just because they have a lot of animals and over the years the animals die and then they bury them in the back garden. The police were happy with this explanation and gave up on the search. They also though decided to interview Joel's wife, who strangely declined to cooperate with the investigation. Frustratingly, Kara's case went cold. On February the 8th, 2022, a decade after she went missing, police confirmed that they had found Kara's body. It was on that property they'd searched the whole time. Joel was obviously arrested. In February 2022, his wife decided to come clean to police. She told them that Joel had told her in 2014 that he accidentally killed an escort that he'd hired. He admitted that he accidentally strangled her to death and buried her near a dead horse on the property. Joel's defense in court claimed that he accidentally killed her in an S act gone wrong and that she lost consciousness due to substance use. Shockingly, he was only convicted of manslaughter and got just 24 years in prison. This was a huge blow to Kara's family.
Tell me the system. Oh, we know what this is.
Sure to hide your little sister from him. 2 months ago, Drake was rumored to be dating, and currently has been rumored to be dating, the rapper Lotto's little sister, her 21-year-old little sister. Second, and I'm still trying to process Meet the Grams. I was not prepared for another drop. I was not ready for this, but here we are. So this is Drake's home. Featuring Kendrick's song Like That. Kendrick said, "Don't make me drop the location." He dropped the location. So in the cover art for the song that Kendrick just dropped, it's showing that there's 13 individuals in Drake's home, which I think like this symbolizes like Drake's camp, like potentially OVO. And OVO is made up primarily of 16 different individuals, including Drake. Drake has this very close entourage who are very closely associated with him on a friendship and a business level. Like for example, Baca Not Nice, he has been charged and faced prison time for trafficking. And when he got out of prison, Drake helped him become famous. What my theory is, and it's probably wrong, but there's 13 people here in this cover art. And there are 16 people a part of OVO that are like pillars in OVO, including Drake. Do the people missing from this cover art symbolize the OVO moles? Kendrick exposing Drake is going much further than just Drake being exposed. And I'm here for the tea. I'll probably make 500 more videos about these diss tracks. I'll see you guys in the next one.
It's crazy.
When Kendrick started out the song talking to Adonis, I immediately knew Drake was cooked. In my head, I was like, yeah, Drake, you done. You done. I could have turned off the song right then and there and said, yeah, Drake, you're cooked. You're finished. Retire. Because I have never heard a rapper talk to somebody kids. You know, talk to the dude who's like talking to a dude who he's beefing with, like his kids in the song. I've never heard that before. So when he said that, I was like, what the fuck? He said your granddaddy should have worn protection. Like, oh my god. He said your daddy didn't teach you shit. In my opinion, easily one of the most disrespectful lines in the entire song. When he told Adonis, let me be your mentor. Like, that is so disrespectful. Drake, me personally, if I had a son and somebody was talking about my son telling him that, me personally, I'm just saying, babe.
Guys, you know there's been a lot of back and forth between Drake and Kendrick. How I guess Kendrick's trying to expose Drake, and they like going back and forth, man, exposing both things on both sides. What do you guys think, Seekers, man? Is there truth behind what both of them are saying? Because they've been going back and forth, and it doesn't seem like they're slowing down. This is going to be like a slugfest.
Kendrick into thinking he has a daughter. People are claiming this is the daughter. She said, I don't know when, but she said, I guess I'll just take over the world myself, throwing up the 6 Drake merch shop. P.S. Wish you were here. Yesterday, Kendrick said, you need to know that love is eternity and trumps all pain. I'll tell you who your father is. Just play this song when it rains. And her name, her username is Eternity. And she was in the background of a music video with J. Cole and Lil Durk. She said, who do you spy with your eye? Me, Eternity. Here I am with Real Cold World, J. Cole, Lil Durk. It was such an honor. Thanks, Pops. Who's her Pops?
Yeah.
Said, dear baby girl, I'm sorry that your father not active inside your world. He don't commit to much but his music. Yeah, that's for sure. You lied about your son. You lied about your daughter. You lied about them other kids that's out there hoping that you come. Last year, she just turned 10. She just turned 11. Bruh, Kendrick dropped on her birthday. But people are saying in the background of Drake's Family Matters music video, you can see posters of the girl who people are claiming is Drake's daughter, aka proving that Kendrick was indeed baited. Drake is a genius. If this is true, Drake is smart as hell. But at the same time, he still got bodied. He's still not coming back from that diss.
Someone in Drake.
What do you guys think? Does Drake have a secret daughter, or was it like I said, or it was a freaking genius move on his part? It was just a bait, and Kendrick took it.
Drake's camp who's plotting on his downfall. As we all know, we got this new track from Kendrick at 6 a.m. to respond to Drake for the second time. People are saying it's another diss track, but I think it's a personal message for Drake to let him know about his inner circle. It's a known fact that every time Drake gets in a beef, he pays his people to find dirt on the person that he has an issue with. Low-key just makes it easier. If I'm Drake, what do I look like going on Google to find info about my ops? I'm dropping a bag. But what if the person you have beef with lives one of the most peaceful lives, like, ever? It completely backfires. Somehow gets right back to the person that you have the issue with. This becomes the main message in 616 in LA.
There's a mole inside OVO, but I heard that kind of Drake, he kind of like, he can say he planted all that information, so it was just fake. And I guess whoever it was, if there was a mole, they just gave themselves up, and he knows now. It's like they playing these mind games back and forth, Kendrick and Drake. It's like, damn. This ain't just, to me, this ain't no freaking regular beef, bro. It's like, they're throwing, like I said,
With the support of this album to back it, Kendrick is literally saying he has nothing to hide. I mean, this album talked about it all. In that album, he said he cheated on his wife, had family issues. That whole album was basically a therapy session. Any dirt that Drake's trying to find on Kendrick right now is pointless. Drake's paying people to find info while he's sitting on the couch like this. It's a perfect alley-oop to see what Drake's gonna do next. Could it be something like Back to Back that's a straight hit record and just can't be avoided? Or will we see a poorly made diss track that has no chance of winning this battle? Only time will tell, but it's undebatable that these two are the greatest artists of our generation.
Drake and Kendrick Lamar got in a rap battle. Who do you think would win?
Gotta go with Kendrick. I'm just saying, I think Drake is an outstanding entertainer, but Kendrick, his last album was outstanding.
Obama saw this couple of freaking years ago where he's a damn prophet. What the hell? It's like my people, they already was picking sides back then, man. So Obama got freaking Kendrick over Drake. Is that insane? Is that crazy, man? You know, everybody has their freaking side, bro. This beef, man, is gonna go off for a minute. That's it, YouTube. If you guys stay with me to the end of the video, your true seeker is seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, hit that subscribe button, man. Hit that like button. Let's grow our community, the seekers, together. Like I said, man, I'm trying to do everything I can to upgrade this channel, so I really appreciate your support. You guys hitting that like button makes everything possible. Follow me on my social medias, man. Send me the videos that you guys want to react to. I'm out. Peace, seekers.